Good morning, Year 5. Welcome to your Friday maths lesson. Please record today's date and learning objective to subtract mixed numbers in your maths book, underlining each with a ruler, please, and then record your flashback for and your time. Pause the video while you do this, then come back to me with your answers ready to mark. Here are the answers. Please can you mark them in blue pen in your maths book? Then we're ready to move on. So today we're going to look at subtracting mixed numbers. Yesterday we were subtracting our fractions, and now today we're going to subtract mixed numbers. Let's get ready. Number 1, convert these mixed numbers to improper fractions. Let's have a look at what we need to do. First of all, we do 5 times 5, which is 25, and then we add the other 3 on. 25 add 3 is 28, 28 fifths. Let's use the same method here. 3 times 9, 3 times 9 is 27, add on the 8, and that makes 35 ninths. Number 2, convert these improper fractions to mixed numbers. So to do this, you say how many tens fit into 102. 102 divided by 10 is 10. 10 wholes, remainder 2. And for the remainder 2, we write that as 10 wholes with 2 tenths left over, because the denominator is 10. Here we say how many 12s go into 124. Well, we know that 12 goes into 120 10 times, and there are 4 of those 12s left over. And we know that 4 12s will convert into 1/3. Let's move on. 7 fifths subtract 3 tenths. We can see here we've got an improper fraction and we're taking away a proper fraction, but the denominators are not the same. First, let's draw 7 fifths. So a whole one is fifths, so we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. A new bar, 6, 7, 7 fifths altogether. And we're going to subtract 3 tenths, but we need to convert this first into tenths. We double 5 to make 10, so we double 7 to make 14. And you can see we've split each piece into 2. So we've times each part by 2, therefore it's 14 tenths. We can now easily subtract 3 of those tenths by drawing a line through. Now we can see quite clearly that we have got 10 tenths and one more tenth. 10 tenths and one more makes 11 tenths, and we can see from the bar model that that is 1 whole one and 1 tenth. Let's move on. We could also look at that same calculation on a number line. Here we've got 0, 1 and 2. These are whole ones. And each part is split into 1 jump, 2 jumps, 3 jumps, 4 jumps, 5 jumps, so it's in fifths. Let's have a think where 7 fifths would go on that number line. Well, 1 whole one would be 5 fifths. So therefore this would be 6 fifths and this would be 7 fifths, because that's 10. So that must be 7 fifths. Now we want to subtract 3 tenths. So we need to find out where 3 tenths would go. So we're going to split the number line into tenths. So each of those fifths is split into 2 parts. Now we're going to label each part as tenths because we're going to convert them into tenths. So 7 fifths becomes 14 tenths by doubling. 1 whole one will be 10 tenths and 2 whole ones is 20 tenths. 3 tenths is here, 1, 2, 3. When we're doing our subtraction, we're going from here back to here. Or we could do it by counting on. Now, if we've got 3/10 to get to the nearest whole one, which is a good jump to do, 3 add 7 would make 10/10. So it's 7/10 as a jump to here. And from here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more tenths. And it's these two jumps that we need to add together, which makes 11/10. So we record the answer like that. And we know that 10/10 is a whole one, and there's one more left over. So that's 1 whole one and 1/10. I'd like you to pause the video and use that same method to help you do this one, noticing that we've gone 1, 2, 3 jumps, so each jump at the moment is in thirds. Where would 2 and 2/3 go? What would we need to do to the line to make it into ninths? Let's see how you did. So, first of all, we need to look at where 2 and 2/3 is. That's 2 whole ones, 1/3, 2/3. So it's here. Next, we need to divide each of those parts to make them into 3 parts instead of just 1. So we've changed this into ninths. So therefore this one will be timesing each part by 3. So it's 2 and 6/9. Then we're going to find out where 7/9 would be. There it is. And we're finding the difference between them. Remember, we jumped to our nearest whole one. So to get from here, we've gone 1/9, 2/9. Then we can do a jump from 1 whole one to 2 whole ones. That's a difference of 1 whole one. And from here, to get to 6/9, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6/9 and the next jump. Remember, these are the parts we're adding back together. So we've got 1 whole one, 6/9, and 2 more 9s, 7, 8. So it's 1 whole one and 8/9. And we write that down. Over to you now to have a go at questions 1 to 3 on the worksheet. Here's how I'd like you to record that, please. Like this, and I'd like you to record it all in your book. So 15/8. Eighths tells me the whole one is split into 8 pieces, and I've got 15, which means I need to make a new row. So that's 8/8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 coloured in. I'm subtracting a half, so I'm converting it into eighths as well. Multiply both parts by 4 to get 4/8, and then I cross 4/8 off, which leaves me with 11/8. And I can see here that's 1 whole one and 3/8. Use this by pausing the video to record your 1A and use the same method to complete all questions up to the end of 3. When you are ready, after you've finished all of those, come back to me and we'll continue. Let's move on. A race is 3 whole ones and 2/3 of a kilometre in length. Let's label that on. Annie has run 1/6 of a kilometre so far, so she's not even run 1 kilometre yet. I want to know how much further does she have to run. Have a think, what calculation do you need to do? Yes, we need to do 3 whole ones and 2/3 and take off the 1/6 that she's already run. You can see here that I've drawn each bar in thirds because we're using thirds, and I've got 1 whole bar, 2 whole bars, 3 whole bars and 2/3. I've got to subtract 1/6, so I need to change each of these into 6 by splitting each bar in half. So we end up with 2 pieces instead of 1 on each piece. Like that. Now you can see I've still got 3 whole bars and 4/6, which is what we've changed this into. 3 whole ones and 4/6. Now it's really easy to cross off one of those 6 and really easy to see what we've got left. We have 3 whole bars and 1, 2, 3, 6. So that's 3 whole bars and 3 6. And we know that 3 6 is the same as a half. Let's have a look at this question. 5 and some 30ths subtract some 6ths is equal to 5 whole ones and 7 30ths. First of all, we need to convert this into 30ths by multiplying by 5. We don't know what the numerator is yet. This means when we change back to the original calculation, we need to find a number here that will divide by 5. So bear that in mind as we do this calculation. Now 5 is here and we can see it. Therefore it's this part, take away this part, that gives me the 7 30ths. So I need a number here that when I subtract this number makes 7. Could I have 14 here? 14 take away 7 30ths would leave me with 7. But could this be 7? No, because it will not divide and go back up. Won't divide by 5. So it can't be that. Let's try something else. How about if we start with 1 here, like this? To get to this, I'd need to do 1 times 5, and that's 5. What number, take away this 5, leaves me with 7? 7 add that 5 would make 12. 12 take away that 5 is 7. So therefore, we could have the answer 5 and 12 30ths subtract 1 6th is equal to 5 and 7 30ths. Pause and have a think. What other possibilities could we have? Let's have a look. We could have this as 2 6ths. 2 6ths would be the same as 10 30ths. What number, take away 10 30ths, would be 7? 17. So that's another possibility. Well done if you did that. Let's have a look at this one. Alex cycles for 8 kilometres. That's 8 whole kilometres. Mo cycles for 7 and 5/8 of a kilometre. How much further does Alex cycle than Mo? Pause the video and have a think. You can see here that I've got 7 whole kilometres and 8 whole kilometres, and my bar is split into 8 pieces. So 7 and 8, this is where Alex gets to, 8 kilometres, and Mo gets to 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where Mo gets to. So we want to know how much further it is. So that's from Mo here up to Alex, which is 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. And that distance is 3/8. And that's the answer, 3/8 of a kilometre. Let's try this one. Jack eats 1 2/5 of a pie. Dora eats 9/10 of a pie less. How much pie does she eat? Here we can see our number line. And Jack, if we convert it, is 1 4/10. 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, which is here. Dora eats 9/10 less, so we need to jump back 9 till we land. And then we see where we've landed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/10. So Dora has eaten 5/10 of a pie, which is the same as half of a pie. I'd like you to pause now and have a go at questions 4 to 6 on your worksheet. Recording it like this, please. Pause the video to see how to do that. Red group, here are your challenges, and I've given you some sentence starters to record your answers. You may pause the video to help you to do this. Good luck today, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.